BioReg News. Tonight we're going to be talking with a doctor and a mother about their experience with a biological deficiency that's been making a startling appearance for the last 2 decades.
Thanks, Vic. Good evening. Today we have a news story on a rare biological condition known as arginine glycine amidinotransferase deficiency. Here with us tonight we have Dr. White to explain the background and what this deficiency actually is. Thank you for coming, Dr. White.
Thanks for having me.
So what can you tell us about AGAT and how the deficiency affects the human body?
Normally, creatine synthesis occurs as a two-step process, with the protein in question, AGAT, being the first step. AGAT catalyzes the transamination reaction that takes glycine and L-arginine as reactants to produce orthidine and GAA, with GAA moving to produce creatine, a vital product for energy transmission and production within the body.
So you're saying this condition affects the production of creatine?
Yes, since AGAT is responsible for the biosynthesis of the precursor creatine, the deficiency would cause a lack of creatine. AGAT deficiency is one of the 3 inborn errors of creatine synthesis and the most uncommon.
You mentioned it as an inborn error of creatine synthesis. Can you elaborate on this and tell us how someone acquires the deficiency?
AGAT deficiency is caused by autosomal recessive inheritance. This means that each parent carries a copy of the mutated gene but do not express the gene. When a child gets both copies of the mutated gene, they will express symptoms of the deficiency. The genomic DNA for AGAT itself contains 9 exons, with the mutation being located on exon 3. There has been 9 mutations identified to cause AGAT deficiency. The most commonly seen mutation is a GA transition that causes tryptophan codon to be converted to a premature stop codon. The mutation ranges from missense to nonsense to abnormal splicing.
So essentially, this deficiency falls down to genetic inheritance, which will cause the protein produced to become inactive, causing a deficiency with creatine production and affecting the body's levels of ATP. Thank you for your time tonight, Doctor, and enlightening us on AGAT with respect to creatine production and the cause of AGAT deficiency. Now, to further this story, we will go back to Vic, who is talking with Tara Hudson, a mother of 2 who both live with this condition. Stay tuned for more on the symptoms and how life is living with this deficiency. If you're just joining us now, we're on the topic of AGAT. We have our reporter Vic, who is speaking with a parent of 2 children affected by this medical deficiency. Let's tune in.
Thank you, Owen. I'm here today in St. John's with Mother Tara Hudson, whose 2 sons have AGAT deficiency. Hello, Tara. Thank you for meeting with us.
Thank you. I just want people to know this disorder exists, and it could be the answer for other parents out there.
What can you tell us about how it was that you first realized something was wrong with your son?
Well, with my first son, Eric, at daycare and even at home, he could not concentrate. At first, I thought it was just ADD, which is common in children, but then his symptoms started to get worse.
What do you mean by getting worse? What else did you notice?
Well, he started having trouble speaking. He couldn't form proper sentences. He didn't play well with the other children at school either. He'd rather just be alone.
That must have been very difficult to notice those behaviors in your son. Did you seek medical attention at that point?
Yeah, at that point, I just figured he was mildly autistic. Then I read a study that was happening at the hospital about AGAT deficiency. The characteristics fit my son's symptoms perfectly, so I contacted the doctors that were running the trial, and they tested him right away.
What did the doctors do to determine your son's condition?
Well, they did a few tests. First, they measured something in his urine, GAA, I think they called it. Apparently low levels of that mean low activity of AGAT. Then they did a test on the gene to see if there's a mutation. If both those tests were positive, then they confirmed by performing a brain scan to show little or no creatine in the brain. In my son's case, all tests were conclusive. Eric has AGAT deficiency.
And is there some sort of treatment for that? Has it been effective?
Yeah, so Eric takes monohydrate creatine supplements. Over time, it increases the creatine levels in his brain. So now he shows mild symptoms, and he's at Memorial getting a wonderful education.
All right, Ms. Hudson, last question. Would there be any benefit if you had had your son diagnosed earlier?
There would actually. My youngest son, David, got tested right after birth. He started his supplements at 4 months old. He's now 7 years old, and you would never say that he has a medical condition.
Well, thank you for your time today. Well, there you have it, Owen. That's how the current treatments for this condition stand.
Thank you for that, Vic. And that's the conclusion of tonight's look at AGAT. Join us next time when we look at Group 10's case study on neuronal NOS deficiency. From your friends here at BioReg News, thank you for watching, and remember to keep your bio regular.